Oh, Money, you'll be my check person. So, let me know when you can hear me. It keeps flashing red then green and red then green. So, tell me when you can hear me. Hold on. There I am. Can you hear me now? You can hear me, Vicky? I'm live, but yes, I'm well rested. Money, you can hear me, love? Money. First off, Jay, she hears your loud self too. Okay. It's just the two of us. Money, this was me checking in. I meant to look first. I meant to schedule it, so I could go and comb my hair and all this jazz. So I guess I'm on here now. I'm live, looking like a whole slave. Great. Well, I'm just checking in. It's been a couple of months since my thank you, boo. It's been a couple of months since my last podcast. The last one I did was on worth, and I've not been good to myself. I've just been like working, and not working on my content, which is my important stuff. Well, it's important to me. Let's be clear. I don't know if this changes whether you can see me on the screen or not because I'm like messing with things, but I hope it doesn't. I'm doing something, so can you still see me, Money? And tell me when you can't, because you're in charge right now. Let's see. I don't know what I'm doing. Yikes. Okay, so when you can't see me, tell me, because I'm trying to post the thing to say that I am live. As just an general check-in. So we shall see what goes. How goes it? You know what? I just thought of while I was checking to see if you could, if I could put myself. Okay, now I'm stammering. I can't do more than one thing at once. Okay, there we go. So, I have my little shirt on that we got when we went to the like lynching memorial in Montgomery. Anyway, so I'm just checking in to let you guys know that I'm going to be doing You Better Fact Check because I had wine first. Hopefully every week live if this is easier for me. It seems easier for me than trying to record something, have it edited, and then post. This was relatively easy. I don't know what I thought that I don't know what I thought it was going to be like, but it's so chill. I feel like I'm not prepared now because I was going to give myself time to think through the process because I hate snails. I was going to give myself time to prepare for it. I was just trying to see what the live was going to be like for YouTube, and this is really easy. You can hear me. I hope I'm clear. They keep closing the doors. The dryer is on. The kids are yelling outside. I could have done this today because it's my off day while I'd been asleep all day. Like literally slept the entire day. I could angle different so you can see my little this instead of yikes. Not mine. Down and relax or whatever. Anyhow, how's it going? I'm just on here doing my You Better Fact Check because I had wine first podcast. Hold on, because I gotta get my wine and then talk about boys not being what boys were when I was a girl. That was a long time ago. Hello, I'm back. Today's selection is not wine. Today's selection is... Okay, thank you, King Chiz. That's very sweet of you to stay any amount of time. So today's selection is not wine. It is Angry Orchard peach mango, because I love everything peach and mango, but it just tastes like regular Angry Orchard. It came in like 6-pack like beer does, instead of in the bottles like it normally does. It's yellow. Okay, now it's green. Now it's green. So when I left to go and get my drink, I knocked it down. So I see it keeps flashing. No, it's fine now. Okay, so what am I doing to it? Is it not plugged in? I don't know. Can you hear me, Money? Can you hear it now? Okay. So when I left to get my drink, I knocked it down. And I guess I'm just going to have to be still because I probably unraveled it. Okay. So what I was saying was, it's not wine today. It's Angry Orchard. I should have known that I couldn't hear it, because now I can hear it. It's Angry Orchard peach mango. They're in a can, not in a bottle. Like a beer 6-pack instead of like what it is. It's hard apple cider. Today's topic is understand. I don't even know that I had a name for it. I'll tell you the story time, then I'll figure out what the title should be when I put the title in. So story time is Zoe. She has a friend, little fat boy that she likes. I guess she thinks he's cute or whatever. She's in 7th grade. He was at a football game with her, and they were like playing around, I guess how kids do, horse playing. And and I keep not getting the full story from her, but from her friends, yes. He paid a boy $2 to splash water on Zoe. Where this is problematic is, he's not your friend if he paid anybody to do anything to you at all, whether it was a little water or a lot of water. And the young man who thought that it was okay to splash water on a girl is not the type of boy that they're not the type of boys we should be raising. Like, who is your parent? Would have never, because you have to think, what could you be paid to do as you get older? If you would do this now for $2, splash water on someone. Like, who is your dad that you think it's okay as a black boy? Because, give a little context, this little boy who's her, I guess she keeps saying he's her friend, but I was like, he's not your friend. He's a little white boy, and he paid his black friend to splash water on Zoe. My problem is, we're in a mostly white space. We live in Hoover, Alabama. There's more, I guess, affluent white kids at her school. And they just seem to be like consistently disrespectful to minority students. We've been on the news about, things that happened at Spain Park, where there's a video from year before, when school was in, where kids were at a little party at one of the kids' houses, and they made all of these like horrible, like kind of genocidal comments about how you should wrangle all the Oreos up. And I mean, you'd have to watch the video yourself. I'm not looking it up. I'm not sharing it. That's trash. But the point that I was getting at is black boys, when I was young, like took up for girls, took up for us at least, and stood in the gap, right? And now you see them just trying to get a laugh. They're not being raised in a way from young boys up to be men like our brothers and cousins and uncles were. And I don't know if it's because we treat our children with kid gloves and we understand that they're more emotional and they're thinkers, so we don't beat their behinds like our moms and dads and grandparents did us. But there is something missing. There is a disconnect. Yes, they're not teaching them to be protectors. There's a disconnect, I feel like, in their humanity, because they get so caught up in social medias and things, and they're desensitized to people's traumas and the effects of this after. And sometimes I feel like Zoe doesn't get that everyone isn't kidding or everyone isn't innocent and they don't have like thoughts how she does, because she is not me. She is not like a fierce black woman how I am. I take no shit, and sometimes that's a pitfall, sometimes that's a great thing, but she is so accepting and understanding of things in a way that I feel like she shouldn't be. Sometimes she should stand her ground, not when I tell her to, but because this is important to me. And I'm trying to, I think, figure out what are the things that are important to her for friendships and what are the things that are important to her with just social interactions in general. Because I think I've told some of y'all who are my friends that when school was in before the pandemic, no, actually this was when they'd gone back to school last school year. In the middle of the pandemic, they were social distancing. All the girls were laying on the grass. No, they were laying on the concrete for PE because they couldn't interact and do PE things together. She has an okay teacher. I feel like I'm failing her all the time. But they were laying in the concrete and a boy stepped on her face. A white boy stepped on her face. And she wasn't going to tell me. Her friend rode home from school with her and immediately told me. Well, you already know me. I called the school right then while I'm still in carpool. I called the school. I emailed her principal, because they have a principal for each grade. And I told Jonathan. And because I was working the next day, he went up there and almost got put out of the school because he was like, I want something done. Like, he has to be suspended. He has to be something. He assaulted my daughter or I'm calling the police. And just like, her not thinking that was a big deal, and us as parents knowing it's a big deal because he thinks that he's superior to her, and he apparently does it to all the girls. So like a lot of feminine self-hatred. But Jonathan went up there and kind of laid down the law and was not having that. So we hadn't had problems out of the middle school since then. But also, and she didn't tell us how the rest of her year went until the year was over. Like, the boy's twin sister threatened to make up stories about her, about Zoe, so that she would get in trouble. And, you know, Zoe's friends were all taking up for her. So I keep thinking, where am I missing? What am I missing in my teaching of her that I'm not having her advocate for herself? So in all of that, it just comes to now back to this school year, and you think that it's okay for your friends to do like silly little things, and you brush it off as like boys being boys. We don't use that term anymore. We don't use that phrase because it should be humans being humans, right? Like, there's not a set of rules for how boys should be able to treat girls just because they're boys, because they're funning around. Like, that's just dead, at least to me, because I will whoop anybody's child. So she wasn't talking to her friend, and he was like communicating through one of her other friends, asking why she wasn't speaking to him. And her answer was more because I was bothered by it than she was. And I don't think until like 2 weeks later, when he wasn't getting why it was a problem, then she was bothered by it. Because he should see that it's a problem, that you should never want anybody to, what if he said, I'll give you $5, throw a rock at her? You know, just something like that. Like, he wasn't getting why she should be mad. So then she got mad. Once she realized that he wasn't, he was like, I don't get it. Why are you upset? Why is your mom mad? You know? She is napalm, and not in a good way. And it's like, I don't want my kid to be one of those kids who goes up to the school and like machetes everybody or shoots all the kids. Like, no, you can't keep doing little things that seem insignificant or minor separately, but collectively, it's a host of problems. Like for you to walk past her in the hall and be like, that's my friend, autistic girl. First off, bitch, she's not autistic. So don't say that. Don't use mental health terms that you don't know anything about. Like she in no way, shape, form, or fashion acts like a child who is autistic. So it's strange that she takes things like this. So I'm just trying to see, like, what is it that's different from them than us? Because my kids don't even know what the dozens are. Okay. Why are they knocking on my door? This is what happens when you have neighbor kids. The kids are outside with them. Please stop knocking on my door. You're right, money. You're right. And I should pose it as something that is closer to her so that she gets the magnitude of it. Because if her brother did do something like that, she would be livid that he treated somebody that way. So back to men. Hey, Kitty Gang. Back to men. What are you teaching your boys? These are real questions, and answer in the comment. What are you teaching your boys that are going to make them better people, better men, better for our community, better in this society and the way that things are moving, in the way that they should be moving in different spaces? Like, what are you teaching them? Because I know that I'm doing a much better job with my boys than I am with Zoe. I think because I'm still in the mindset of men are provider protectors. So I expect a different attitude from them and a different understanding from from my boys than I do for her, where I'm like, I got her. You know, I'll do this. This is my baby. I'll handle these things or issues that arise. I have an answer for her. I think I'm doing her a disservice. Say so in the comments. Maybe I'm not. But I do hold my boys to a standard of, this is how you should be towards women. This is how you should be towards your peers, towards your siblings. There's different levels that you should have. No matter what the situation is, you should always stand by your sibling before you do your friends. If there is a fight or anything that jumps off, like it did at the little playground the other day, you are on your sibling's side, whether he is wrong or not. Collins threw sand in somebody's eye because they threw sand in his friend's eye. And Austin was like, it is rough, Keena. Austin got mad at Collins. And I was like, I get it, but you don't show that to everyone else. Like, if you're mad at him, you call him in. Like, even as Black adults, call your friend or relative in. Don't call them out in public. You could have very well stood by his side at the park, and then when you got home said, Collins, you know you shouldn't have done that. Whether you were defending your friend or not, you shouldn't have done the thing that you did that everybody was mad about. And I think Austin didn't get it, because he's one of those, right is right. So he'll stick up for the right thing, which is good. Like, that's where I'm like in a bit of a quagmire, where I'm like, I want you to always defend your brother, but I want you to always do the right thing. Parenting is rough. Keena, you're right. Because our answers are like contradictory and hypocritical and all of the things that parenting should be. I feel like that there's a win somewhere. There's an age where there's a win. I'm not at those ages. I have 8, 10, 12, and I'm not at the winning age. So I'll figure out which one it is. Maybe I missed it a year and I was like, I'm winning right there. And I'm really not. So we'll see. Also, Anne, this literally was a check-in. And it runs about the same time that my podcast normally runs. I'm running at about 22 minutes. And my podcast is normally 30 minutes when it's on Anchor. So when I'm doing this live each week, possibly any day, maybe every day, depending on... So the age I am now is the winning age for kids. Thank you, Keena. 40 is the winning age. I got it. I can't wait. They'll be 40 and I'll be like 70 something. I probably won't even remember all the things that they did wrong. That I'm like, oh, now they're great adults. I hope I remember it. I hope I'm in a space where I can look back and reflect on how I parented them and say, but you did a good job. I hope so. Or we're going to have some horrible psychotic adults. Thank you for tuning in today to You Better Fact Check Because I Had Wine First. There is turning out to be nothing to fact check and just a lot of insight into my life and parenting. I did have some things to say about the Chappelle special, but I'm going to hold that. I'm going to stall you out. And get to it next time. Thanks everybody for listening. This is Andrea with You Better Fact Check Because I Had Wine First. And thank you so much. And goodbye. First off, I gotta figure out how to go off of live, so I can't say goodbye yet. I'll figure it out in a minute.